Hello and welcome to 2 Minute Watches. Today we have the Omega Seamaster 300m in blue. This is a watch that I've had my eye on for a long time. I've actually tried to get many years ago, probably around 2016, 2017. They had the previous version without the wave pattern of the kind of plain ceramic dial. And I wanted to get that. I actually wanted to get the black version at first, as I thought that was the most versatile. And I think this is one of the things that when you start to get a larger watch collection, you start to branch out in the specificities, and you don't really want a one watch collection, and you want to start kind of going into a different direction. So the blue element of it really appealed to me, particularly as the original Bond Seamaster is obviously the blue Pierce Brosnan one as well. So as I got older, I started to kind of lust after the blue one rather than the black one. So on my latest trip to Japan, I managed to pick one up and very excited. And I really wanted to talk a little bit about the ability to wear this watch on smaller wrists. My wrists are 6.25 inches. So that for a long time, with the case size being 42 millimeters and the lug-to-lug distance being 50 millimeters, I thought that was kind of too far beyond my reach. I usually wear the SPB 143, which is similar thickness, I think both about 13.5 millimeters, and I always wear that up there. But the lug-to-lug, I think, is about 47 on the SPB 143, whereas this is 50. So yeah, quite a bit more substantial. And I did try this on in the AD with the stainless steel bracelet, and even the sales advisor was a bit skeptical as to whether it would fit. Whether it would work, and he did recommend me get the Black Bay 58 instead, which he said was just perfect for the 6.25 inch wrist. So I've swapped around, and although I did kind of have the Black Bay 58 for a little bit, and I have reviewed it on this channel, there's something about the Omega, I think maybe I've fallen for their marketing and their spiel that I really wanted. So the chance came up to try it. So I bought it on the bracelet. I bought it on the NATO, a NATO strap to go with it, and also the rubber strap. And it really is the rubber strap where it seems to shine the most. I will do a video of it on the NATO at some point, but understandably with the extra, it's a double pass NATO strap. So with the extra heft that comes into it, it does sit a lot larger, both in terms of between the case and the wrist, but also obviously with the kind of extra fabric that sits around at the top from around the fastenings. So basically the story of this video is that the rubber strap really convinced me that it is wearable on smaller wrists. So here we have, it comes in two variants. This one is the one with the tang buckle, and the other variant that you could get is one with a deployment clasp. The deployment is considerably more expensive. I think it's like 2 times the price. I think this is about 300 something pounds. I think the deployment clasp is a different strap because it doesn't have these buckle holes, as it's kind of the buckle is on the inside, rather the fastening's on the inside, and that will set you about £600. Many people would balk, including myself, at paying £300 plus on a rubber strap, but it is insanely comfy. This is, I'm sure, very high grade of rubber, but also it almost doesn't feel like rubber. It's kind of both smooth yet pliable at the same time. Very nice Omega buckle with polished and brushed edges. The Omega and Seamaster text on the fastenings. Interesting fact is that, yes, firstly, yeah, really well made. I can tell it's very, very solid and tight. But this here is actually, you can see here, when I kind of push it, you can't feel the squidging as much as you can here. And the reason for that is that there's actually a titanium fastening on this bit where it says Omega. You can see it's very straight. And again, on the whole of this, the first fastening, the whole thing is titanium insert at the bottom. It's very rigid, feels very solid. So that's helpful. Another reason is that obviously when you rest it, when you rest your wrist on the table and you're typing, I found it very comfortable just having these extra things which bear the brunt of the contact with the desk, or whether it be metal or wood. So very comfy. So that's the rubber strap. So the rubber strap itself, very good. But I think mainly is that it helps it taper the quite substantial 50mm lug-to-lug of the case around the wrist. So you can see here, it just helps to bridge the gap around what would have been a hanging. And particularly if you had the bracelet, it would wrap around a little bit more. I'll try and get a photo of that up. But this really makes it kind of wrap around the wrist in a much more tapered way. Added to the fact that when you're wearing a rubber strap, it adds a sporty feel anyway. If I'm going to work, I probably wear a different watch. I'd probably wear a Cartier or perhaps a stainless steel bracelet with it. For my weekend escapades, the rubber strap is particularly good in the summer when you're wearing a short sleeve polo shirt or t-shirt. I think it works really well. When you're wearing a longer sleeve, perhaps the bulk of the case is harder to fit on the wrist, as it were. And as well as the ability of the rubber strap to go around, one thing I did start to realize is that the effect of the twisted lugs, as you can see around here, and the shape of the case going at the end, really help to be a bit more, give you a bit more leeway, a bit more lenient in terms of wrapping around the smaller wrists such as mine. So yeah, for those 6.25 inch wrists, if you go less than that, I would significantly A, advise the rubber strap, and B, probably try install first. But I think it is possible. And also just the nature of the Omega Seamaster being a bit more of a dressy diver, a sporty diver, luxury, a bit more blingy. The Black Bay 58 being a bit more vintage, dressy, smaller proportions. So you are going for that aesthetic. So I think the fact that it does seem a bit more kind of bulky and substantial on the wrist does kind of work with the modern diver. It's not trying to be a vintage inspired one. And I think for that reason, it does kind of work. So yeah, I thought about it for a long time, and I was just worried that I'd never be able to kind of own one. And yeah, I'm glad it has worked out. I think this is also where the blue might help a little bit, because the blue is often used as one of the more sporty variants. So the fact that it's a chunky kind of blue diver, I think adds to the fact that I think it doesn't really appear odd, and maybe the black one does. So yeah, let me know what you think, particularly those with small wrists. I'd like to hear a bit more about your story and adventure on whether you chose to look for one and get one or not. How did it work for you? Do let me know in the comments, and like and subscribe if you like the video. Thanks so much.